Hello everyone, warm welcome to Super Coaching Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in the next session of your favorites, I would say the series that is Finance Current Affairs, where we are going to cover the current affairs for 4th to 6th of May. So today we are going to discuss a very important master direction given by RBI, or I would say it's basically a report which has been presented by RBI, and in the previous examination in 2024, from the same report, 2 to 3 questions were asked. So this session is going to be a really very important session, because if the question was asked in the previous examination, there is a great probability that the same report can be asked again by RBI. So before we start the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section with yes sir, so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. And I'm pretty sure you must have shared the link of this session with your friends and family so that they can join and enjoy the benefit of all these sessions. Here we go with the first slide, but the first slide, as you said, is related to the revision. That means all the questions which we have covered in the previous sessions, or I would say all the news which we have covered in the previous session, we will make a quick revision of them with the help of MCQs, or I would say detailed statement based MCQs, and I'm pretty sure you are going to enjoy them. Here we go with the first question. Please pay attention. I'll give you 20 seconds for every question. You need to attempt the question within that time span, because the same time span is going to be followed in your final phase 1 examination as well. Here we go with the first question. Consider the following statements regarding the application process for compounding as per Reserve Bank of India. So we all know that we have studied the compounding of contravention related to FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Act, and on that particular ground this question has been framed for you. The question says the compounding application can be submitted only physically to the RBI. No sir, this is incorrect. You can submit the application physically, as well as you can submit the application with the help of the Pravaha portal as well. You can submit the application with the help of Pravaha portal as well. Moving on to the next statement, applications can be submitted through Pravaha portal. That is true. They have not mentioned only Pravaha portal, otherwise this would have been incorrect. So second statement is correct. The compounding fees is 10,000 rupees plus applicable GST. That is absolutely correct. If you want to register a compounding request against a contravention done, then you need to pay beforehand 10,000 rupees plus GST as fees. It is mandatory to include the contact details such as name, phone number and email ID of the applicant. That is also correct. The current GST applicable on compounding fees is 12%. No sir, we have discussed in the previous session, the compounding fees is not 12%, rather it is 18%. So keeping all that points in mind, the answer to this particular question is going to be B option, that is 2, 3 and 4 are the correct answers. First and fifth statement is incorrect. Moving on to the next question now. Read out the question, give me the answer, then I will be discussing it for you. Read out the question, give me the answers, and then I will be discussing it for you quickly. Okay, the examiner is asking, please discuss these cases for which compounding is not allowed, or for which compounding request or compounding application cannot be registered. A contravention committed within 3 years of a previously compounded similar contravention is not eligible. बिल्कुल सही है. There should be a gap of 3 years, तभी compounding होगी, वरना compounding नहीं होगी. There will be a direct penalty charge. Contravention involving suspected money laundering or terror financing are not eligible for compounding. That is true. If the amount involved in the contravention is not quantifiable, then the penalty charge is going to be 2 lakhs, but it won't be entertained by RBI. It won't be entertained by RBI. So remember that if a contravention which is not quantifiable. For example, आपको कोई reporting करनी थी, but you haven't done that reporting. So in that particular case, if it is not quantifiable, then this is not compounded by RBI. The statement is incorrect. No compounding application will be processed unless the applicant has completed the request administrative action. This is बिल्कुल absolutely correct. अगर RBI के पास आप कंपाउंडिंग के लिए जा रहे हैं, you have to complete all the pre-request requirements, otherwise compounding cannot be done. Last is any contravention committed after 3 years of a similar compounding contravention is considered as a first contravention. That is correct. तो आंसर क्या बनेगा? Second, fourth and fifth. So keeping that in mind, what will be the answer? Keeping that in mind, what will be the answer? Sorry. A contravention committed within 3 years contravention is not eligible. Okay, I thought यहाँ पे लिखा है eligible, so it is not eligible. तो ये भी correct है. So answer होगा 1, 2, 4 and 5. So 1, 2, 4 and 5, that is A option is absolutely the correct answer. तो यहाँ से हम जो answer देंगे that will be A option. Moving on to the next question. I hope जो मैंने गलती की वो आप लोगों ने भी गलती की. Contravention committed within 3 years of previously compounded similar contravention is not eligible. सही तो है. मुझे लगा they have written is eligible, तो इसलिए मैंने उसको incorrect mark किया, but they have written not eligible, so that statement is correct. 1, 2, 4, 5 is correct. Moving on to the next question. You have 20 seconds. Read the question. It is a mixed bag of 2 news. मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप आंसर कर पाएंगे. देखना जरा. Okay. So consider the following statement regarding the recent development in the digital payment sector in India. Razorpay has launched India's first model. Razorpay has launched India's first model context protocol server enabling AI-driven integration with its payment system. That is correct. MCP allows AI assistant to perform actions such as creating payment links, initiating refunds without traditional dashboard. That is correct. MCP was developed by Razorpay. No, sir. MCP is not developed by Razorpay. Give me the answer. Which organization has developed MCP? Give me the answer in the comment section. ZacPay has received the certificate of authorization from RBI to operate as an online payment aggregator under the Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. ZacPay can now facilitate digital payment across various modes including credit, debit card, UPI, wallet, EMI, pay option and whatnot. The answer is correct. So answer to this particular question will be the same, that is A option. 1, 2, 4 and 5 are correct, but the third statement is incorrect. Why the third statement is incorrect? Because in the third statement MCP is being developed by Anthropic, not by Razorpay. That is correct. Very good. Sonali, Aditi have given the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Again, you have 20 seconds. It is with reference to penalties under FEMA. What will be the answer? देखो, मेरे को जो सबसे पहले दिखा इस क्वेश्चन में, breaching the condition of an authorization issued by RBI is not considered as contravention. Second statement is incorrect. If the amount involved in contravention is not quantifiable, penalty value is 2 lakh. That is correct. In case of continuing contravention, additional 5,000 rupees per day penalty. That is correct. Penalty for contravention may go up to 5 times. No, sir. It cannot go up to 5 times. It can be up to 3 times only. So this is incorrect. First, third and fourth are correct. So according to this, A option is the correct answer. According to this, A option is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Compounding the following statement. Consider the following statement regarding the compounding mechanism under FEMA 1999. Go for it. Easy question. See, ऐसे questions को पढ़ने के लिए समय बचाने के लिए क्या करो? 180 days. क्या ये सही है? बिल्कुल. An application compounding must be submitted within 180 days from the day of contravention along with the fees. This is correct. Once approved, the compounding penalty must be paid within 15 days. That is true. A similar contravention cannot be compounded again within 3 years. That is true. Contravention related to money laundering or terror financing under Section 3A FEMA are eligible for compounding. No, sir, that cannot be compounded by RBI. The next point is compounding is a voluntary mechanism. That is true. So answer is going to be again A option. 1, 3, 4, 5 are correct. Second option is incorrect. I hope it is clear. Moving on to the last question, I guess the last question of the evening maybe. अगला question क्या कहता है? There are few statements out of which you need to choose the correct statement. We have studied International Financial Service Center Authority and National Institute of Securities Markets have signed an MOU to promote capacity building in GIFT IFSC Gandhinagar. This is correct. NISM established in 2006 by SEBI will serve as a training partner to IFSC and help in conducting the certification examinations. That is correct. MOU was signed in the presence of chairman of SEBI and governor of RBI. नहीं सर, RBI के गवर्नर का तो यहाँ पे कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है, तो ये गलत हो गया. ICICI Bank was charged with a penalty of 97.80 lakh rupees. This is correct. Axis Bank has also faced a penalty for the non-compliance related to Kisan Credit Card. So the answer to this particular question is first statement is correct, second is correct, fourth is correct, third and fifth statement is incorrect. Why fifth statement is incorrect? Axis Bank के ऊपर जो penalty charge हुई, what was the reason why that penalty was charged? Give me the answer in the comment section. अगला question है, consider the following statement regarding the India's economic position and recent policy development. India is currently the fourth largest economy in the world with a GDP of $4.39 trillion. This statement is absolutely correct. According to IMF projection, India is expected to take both Germany and Japan by 2030. That is also correct. The US has imposed tariffs that have contributed to a steady rise in global growth. No, sir, it has resulted in steady fall in the global growth rates. So third statement is incorrect. Authorized dealers, banks, they can allow Indian exporters to remit funds for operating offices and warehouses in BharatMart without any precondition subject to reasonableness. That is correct. Exporters, they are allowed that they can repatriate full export from the sales in BharatMart within 9 months from the date of shipment, or from the date of sale. From the date of shipment or from the date of sale. Sir, it should be date of sale. So answer to this particular question is first answer, that is 1, 2, 4. Do you think fifth answer is correct? Is it date of shipment from India or is it date of sale? Please pay attention and give me this answer. Please pay attention and give me this answer. This question is really very important. If you can identify this, it's going to be very important for you, because if a direct question is asked in the examination, you will be in a position to answer it. So tell me, is it related to sale? Is it related to sale or is it related to shipment? Think twice. If you were present in the previous session, you will be in a position to answer this question. अगर आपको याद हो तो हमने बात की थी regarding this Bharat Mart. हमने बात की थी its comparison with the Dragon Mart, चाइना का जो है, उसमें हमने ये बात की थी कि कुछ पॉइंट्स हमने डिस्कस किए. तो उसमें से एक पॉइंट हमने डिस्कस किया था जो कि काफी इंपॉर्टेंट था, कि अगर इंडियन एक्सपोर्टर का जो प्रोडक्ट है वो सोल्ड आउट होता है या फिर वो इंडिया से एक्सपोर्ट होता है, उसके 9 महीने के बाद यू कैन विड्रॉ द फंड्स और यू कैन रेपेट्रिएट द फंड्स. सो व्हाट विल बी द आंसर? इज इट सेल और इज इट द अदर वे अराउंड? So it should be a sale of the goods from the warehouse. It should be from the sale of goods from the warehouse. So answer is not 1, 2, 4 and 5. Answer is 1, 2 and 4. I have intentionally given the fifth statement correct. I was expecting that majority of you are going to make this mistake. So ये जो minute things हैं, you have to keep in mind, because these minute things can lose or can let you to lose 0.25 marks in the examination. एक नंबर आने की बजाय 0.25 नेगेटिव हो जाएगा. You remember that for sure. ठीक है जी. रेडी गाइस, लेट्स स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन फॉर टुडेज सेशन. और आज का जो सेशन है वो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट सेशन है, क्योंकि आज के सेशन में हम डिस्कस करेंगे आरबीआई की एक रिपोर्ट. कौन सी रिपोर्ट हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, प्लीज पे अटेंशन. सर, आरबीआई पब्लिश करता है हाफ ईयरली रिपोर्ट ऑन द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स. अब जब भी कभी हम बात करते हैं फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स की, तो इससे रिलेटेड दो तीन चीजें हैं जो आपको प्री नोटेड, प्री अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए. वो क्या? whenever we talk about the term that is foreign exchange reserves, you must remember one thing very carefully. Forex reserves जो है वो कौन मेंटेन करता है? सर, आरबीआई मेंटेन करता है. एंड दीज फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स दे इंक्लूड few things. The first one, we include the foreign currency as well as the foreign currency assets. Foreign currency का मतलब I'm talking about cash. Foreign currency asset का मतलब है, मान लो Federal Reserves has issued a debt instrument and India, Government of India, RBI has purchased that debt instrument. So that particular security will also be the part of Forex reserve. We call it as foreign currency asset. Second we include in this is that is gold. Third point which we include in this is special drawing rights, and the fourth one we include in this is that is reserve tranche position, reserve tranche position with IMF. Reserve tranche position with IMF. I don't know, अगर आप कभी न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें ऐसा लिखा होगा RTP और सबस्क्रिप्ट में लिखा होगा IMF. इसका मतलब है रिजर्व ट्रेंच पोजीशन विद IMF. ठीक है, इस बात को पहले समझते हैं, फिर कहीं जाकर हम न्यूज को समझ पाएंगे. सबसे पहला पॉइंट तो ये है कि सर हमारा जो फॉरेक्स रिजर्व है उस पे इंपैक्ट क्यों होगा. सर, हमारे फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स या तो इंक्रीज होंगे और दे विल डिक्रीज. either they will increase or they will decrease depending upon the flow of funds. And if I talk about India, and if I consider the transactions of India with the rest of the world, or transactions of the Indian public with the rest of the world, we have certain incoming funds as well as we have certain outgoing funds. तो ये जो incoming funds है और जो outgoing funds है उसमें हम क्या क्या चीजें इंक्लूड करेंगे. सो प्लीज पे अटेंशन, आई विल मेक इन दिस मैनर. इनकमिंग फंड्स में क्या होगा? इफ इंडिया इज एक्सपोर्टिंग, अगर इंडिया ने कुछ एक्सपोर्ट किया, एक्सपोर्ट के बदले में इंडिया को फंड्स मिलेंगे, एंड दोज फंड्स व्हिच इंडिया इज गोइंग टू गेन अगेंस्ट एक्सपोर्ट, दैट इज इनकमिंग फंड्स. सेकंड पॉइंट इज इनवर्ड रेमिटेंस. इंडिया के सिटीजंस who are residing outside India, they are earning outside India, they are remitting the funds back to their family so that their family can survive, can live better. So that is inward remittance. और मैं आपको बता दूं, India is on the first rank in the world in terms of inward remittance. और इंडिया में जो inward remittance recorded है in past 2 years, that has been greater than $100 billion. Give me the exact data कि 2024 में इंडिया में कितना इनवर्ड रेमिटेंस रिकॉर्ड किया गया था. गिव मी द आंसर इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. नहीं पता हो तो दैट विल बी अ होमवर्क. थर्ड पॉइंट इज, sir, of Indian company, let's say Infosys is operating outside India, so Infosys will be earning the profit. So that incoming profit earned by or income earned by Indian companies operating outside India, that will be the part of incoming funds. उसके साथ साथ salary and wages. For example, I am working for an organization which is set up in US, और वो मुझे जब सैलरी देंगे, that will be a part of incoming funds, that is salary and wages. Fifth point is borrowings. If India is borrowing the funds from the external world, rest of the world, or Indian public is borrowing. And last point is foreign investment. When the foreign entities they invest in India, we call it as foreign investment. ठीक है जी. On the other side, if I talk about the other format, talks about the incoming funds. Talks about the outgoing funds. तो अगर मैं outgoing funds की बात करूं, पैसा इंडिया से बाहर कब जाएगा? सर, जब इंडिया इंपोर्ट बिल्स देगा. पैसा इंडिया से बाहर कब जाएगा? सर, जब इंडिया में रहने वाले फॉरेनर्स, फॉर एग्जांपल अ नेपाली स्टेइंग इन इंडिया, फॉर एग्जांपल एन अमेरिकन स्टेइंग इन इंडिया, ही इज रिमिटिंग द इनकम back to his family, that will be termed as outward remittance. Obviously, India में outward remittance काफी कम है. The nation which is on the first rank in terms of outward remittance is US. Moving on to the third point, that is profit earned by foreign companies which are operating in India. Then we have the salaries as well as the wages which Indian companies or the organizations set up in India, they pay to someone who is residing outside India. उसके साथ साथ we have lending which is done by India to the foreign nations, or financial assistance which we provide to the foreign nations. And sixth one is Indian companies investing outside India. Indian companies investing outside India. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर ये जो रिकॉर्ड ऑफ पेमेंट्स है, वेयर वी इंक्लूड दीज रिकॉर्ड ऑफ पेमेंट्स. सर ये जो पेमेंट्स है इन्हें रिकॉर्ड किया जाता है अंडर द टर्म दैट इज बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट. एंड बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट इज क्लासिफाइड इनटू 3 categories if I go with the older regime. But if I go with the latest regime which was given by IMF, that is the 6th edition, then I will be including the financial account as well. एक बार उसको ignore करते हैं तो we have 2. One is current account and the other one we have is capital account. I am ignoring the latest edition of balance of payment management given by IMF, that is the 6th edition. और third जो यहाँ पे point है that is errors and omissions. अब यहाँ पे ये जो current account है, current account include all those transactions which are regular in nature, and they do not impact the assets or liability of the country. So अगर आप देखें ध्यान से तो ये जो first 4 transactions हैं, दोनों ही तरफ, या इसमें अगर मैं एक और ऐड करना चाहूं, I'll add one more, that is grant and aid which we provide or which we receive. So that will also be the part of what? So that will also be the part of current account. But on the other side, capital account में हम include करते हैं वो transactions which impact what? Sir, which impact the assets as well as liabilities of the country, which include borrowings as well as investment. Foreign company investing in India, Indian asset value is decreasing. We are borrowing from the foreign entities, our liability is increasing. So that will be the part of capital account. ठीक? Now, in order to manage the balance of payment, मतलब सर एक तरफ हमारे पास इनकमिंग फंड्स हैं और दूसरी तरफ हमारे पास आउटगोइंग फंड्स हैं. ऑब्वियसली दिस इनकमिंग एंड आउटगोइंग इज पॉसिबल if we have the required funds. अब मान लो अगर इंडिया में आउटगोइंग फंड्स आर मोर देन इनकमिंग फंड्स, तो उसका रिजल्ट क्या होगा सर? उसका रिजल्ट ये होगा कि आपका जो बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट है वो डेफिसिट होगा. अब बोलने के लिए तो ये अच्छा लग रहा है कि बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट डेफिसिट है, बट अगर आप प्रैक्टिकली सोचो, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. व्हाई इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल प्रैक्टिकली? इट मींस दैट यू आर पेइंग $100 but you are receiving only $50. Is it possible for you to pay $100 by receiving only 50? That is not possible. So in that particular case, what will happen? Sir, it will impact the forex reserves. So the forex reserves of the country will decrease because out of those forex reserves, this deficit is going to be balanced. This deficit is going to be financed. So that is the reason over the period of time, forex reserves of the country, they are impacted either because of balance of payment situation or secondly because of the initiatives taken by RBI to balance the exchange rate or to control the exchange rate or to manage the exchange rate. मतलब क्या हुआ? अगर Indian rupees is depreciating at a very fast rate in comparison to dollars, what will RBI do? Sir, RBI will increase the circulation of foreign currency in the Indian economy so that with respect to the demand on foreign currency, the supply should increase and this depreciation should decrease, and this is known as managed floating exchange rate, which is followed in India. So these are the two reasons. One is exchange rate management and the other one is balance of payment management, are the two reasons which impact the forex reserves of the nation, which lead to decrease in or increase in forex reserves of the nation, beside a number of other aspects which are going on in the economy. इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर? इज दिस स्टैटिक पोर्शन क्लियर? ये क्लियर नहीं होगा तो न्यूज समझ नहीं आएगी. दोज हु वांट कि अब उनको न्यूज समझ आए ताकि घर जाकर उस न्यूज को दोबारा याद करने की जरूरत ना पड़े, देन दिस स्टैटिक पार्ट शुड बी वेरी क्लियर टू एवरीवन. इफ इट इज क्लियर, गिव मी yes sir, I'll move ahead. If it is clear, give me yes sir, I'll move ahead. Quickly everyone, I'm waiting. Okay. If it is clear, now I'll move on to the next point, that is SDR, और दूसरा पॉइंट है रिजर्व ट्रेंच पोजीशन विद IMF. इसको समझते हैं. देखो, यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड अबाउट द टर्म IMF. इट इज इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड, एंड द मेंबर नेशन, जितनी भी all the member nations, all the member countries, they are responsible, they are bounded to provide certain amount. We call it as a pooling amount. It is a obligation on the member countries that you are responsible, you are asked to pool in certain amount. This certain amount is not going to be fixed for everyone, but it will be dependent on the size of the economy. Larger the economy is, more will be the pooling amount. The amount which you pool, we call it as a quota. And this quota is pooled not only in the form of foreign currency, but it is also pooled in the form of domestic currency. So nation pools certain part in the form of domestic currency and certain part of the total quota which they are liable to deposit as a membership fees to IMF in foreign currency. And on the basis of this quota, IMF provide nation a right to borrow the funds from the members. And this borrowing can be done in 5 different currencies. That could be in US dollars, that could be in yen, that could be in sterling pound, even in euro, or in Chinese renminbi or Chinese yuan, whatever is the case. So these 5 currencies can be utilized to borrow the funds, and this borrowing will be done firstly from this pool, and above that if the pool is completely consumed, then nation like US, they can pool in the amount more than their quota, and that can also be utilized for lending, or they can also be provided as a loan to the nation. Now, in order to avoid dependency on any one currency, IMF introduced a term that is known as SDR. We call it as special drawing rights. Special drawing rights is considered as a virtual currency, but actually it is not a currency. It's not a, I would say, foundation on the IMF. IMF is not liable to pay the SDR. SDR is something which has been introduced in order to avoid dependency on any one currency. So अगर हमसे कोई पूछे कि इंडिया का withdrawing capacity कितनी है, how much India can borrow as per its quota from IMF, they say $1 million. तो कोई कहेगा नहीं, please tell me in euros. Then I have to say 0.90 million euros. Then someone will come, नहीं, pound में बताओ. Then I have to say 0.80 sterling pound. So in order to avoid this problem, what has been given? It has been given that rather than using all these currencies independently, let's represent your quotas, let's represent your withdrawing power, your borrowing power in terms of SDR, which is known as special drawing right. And this special drawing right is nothing but it is a virtual currency which is calculated as a weightage of all, where I would say, let's say 1 SDR is equals to $1, 1 SDR is equals to 0.5 euro, 1 SDR is equals to 0.9 sterling pound, or so on. So in this particular case, अगर मुझे कोई कहे कि India can borrow 1 million SDR from IMF, which means India can borrow $1 million from IMF, 0.5 million euros from IMF, 0.9 million sterling pound from IMF, and as per the requirement, India can do the borrowing. जिस currency की requirement है, उस currency में borrowing कर लो. समझ आई ये बात? Clear हुआ मोटा मोटा? और वो जो आपकी कैपेसिटीज है दे आर ऑल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ व्हाट, दे आर ऑल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ रिजर्व्स। तो ये जो रिजर्व ट्रेंच पोजीशन है विद आईएमएफ, ये वो कोटा है विच यू हैव पेड एज अ मेंबरशिप फीस। उस मेंबरशिप फीस में यू हैव पेड or you have deposited the membership fees in the form of foreign currency as well as domestic currency. So this foreign currency in your reserved amount, in your membership fees paid amount is termed as reserve trench position, and you can utilize this reserve trench position whenever required. अब यहां पर दो पॉइंट्स हैं, ध्यान से सुनना। अगर आप अपनी रिजर्व ट्रेंच पोजीशन का 25% वैल्यू यूज करते हैं to overcome your balance of payment deficit, we call it as gold trench. ये यूपीएससी में क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था. It can be asked in RBI. And if you are borrowing or you are withdrawing 100% of your reserve trench position to manage your balance of payment deficit, we call it as stable trench. We call it as stable trench. तो ये चीजें हैं जो आपको याद रखनी है। मतलब अगर आपको अपने रिजर्व ट्रेंच पोजीशन को यूज करना है, यू कैन यूज इट विदाउट एनी बाउंडेशन, विदाउट एनी कमीशन, विदाउट एनी चार्जेस, यू कैन विड्रॉ इट एंड यूज इट। But the benefit is you can use it in any of the 5 currencies because this trench will be represented not only in the form of dollars, rather it will be represented in the form of SDR. जिसने आज तक IMF पढ़ा था लेकिन उसे पता नहीं था कि how IMF operates, I am pretty sure he or she must have enjoyed, but for whom IMF is a very new concept, उनके लिए I would say go through with the term IMF and then watch this phase or this segment of the session again. It will be much clear to you. It will be much clear to you. तो जिन लोगों को IMF आज पहली बार समझ आया, रिजर्व ट्रेंच पोजीशन पहली बार समझ आया, SDR टर्म पहली बार समझ आई है, गिव मी अ बिग yes sir in the comment section. Now I'll start the news. अब न्यूज बड़ी मजेदार है, बहुत अच्छे से समझ आएगी, प्लीज पे अटेंशन। RBI publishes half yearly report on management of foreign exchange reserves, as the part of its efforts towards enhanced transparency and level of disclosure. These reports, they are prepared half yearly with reference to the position that is end March and end September. मतलब ये हुआ कि अभी जो रिपोर्ट आई है, दिस इज फ्रॉम अक्टूबर 2024 टू मार्च 2025. अगली जो रिपोर्ट आएगी दैट विल बी फ्रॉम अप्रैल 2025 टू सितंबर 2025. इससे पहले जो रिपोर्ट थी दैट वाज फ्रॉम अप्रैल टू सितंबर 2024. सो इट इज बीइंग प्रेजेंटेड फॉर दीज 6 months और मार्च 2025 तक का डेटा हैज बीन प्रेजेंटेड रिसेंटली इन मई. तो ये जो सितंबर वाला डेटा है, इट मे बी आउट इन अक्टूबर और मे बी इन नवंबर. RBI has began publishing this half yearly report in February 2004. This report provides us with the detailed account of reserve position, which include foreign currency accounts, gold reserves, special drawing rights and reverse and reserve trench position. I'm pretty sure कि अब इन वर्ड्स को देखकर you must be not feeling that afraid कि यार बोलना क्या चाह रहे हो, लिखा क्या है. इस रिपोर्ट को फर्दर 2 कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड किया जाता है. हमारे लिए जो इंपॉर्टेंट कैटेगरी है दैट इज पार्ट 1, जिसमें बात करेंगे हम मूवमेंट ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व्स, इंफॉर्मेशन ऑन एक्सटर्नल लाइबिलिटीज एंड रिजर्व्स, एडिक्वेसी ऑफ रिजर्व्स, एंड पार्ट 2 में विल टॉक अबाउट व्हाई रिजर्व मैनेजमेंट इज डन. What are the statutory provisions for reserve management? What are the risk management practices done by RBI? Information on transparency and disclosure practices. तो information on transparency and disclosure practices जो RBI द्वारा रन की जा रही है उसके बारे में भी बात इस particular discussion में की जाएगी. Okay guys, I hope we are good to go. Let's get started with the discussion. So I open up this particular report for you. Please pay attention. जहां जो चीज याद करनी होगी I'll mark it. जो चीज आपको याद नहीं करनी I'll just write read only. ठीक है? So this is something which you need to remember. क्या कहती है पहला ही स्टेटमेंट इस रिपोर्ट का? The report statement says reserves decreased from $705 billion at the end of September 2024. तो सितंबर 2004 में, in September 2004, the reserves, the Forex reserves with RBI were what value? So उनकी value थी that was 705. The value was 705 $705.78 billion, $705.78 billion at the end of September 2024. लेकिन फिर उसके बाद ये reserves कम होने लगे. Why these reserves have decreased? Then what is the reason? The reason is very obvious. If you remember, after September, nation has witnessed. After September, nation has witnessed what? So nation has witnessed liquidity crisis, especially the banking sector of the country. Especially the banking sector of the country has witnessed liquidity crisis. और इन्हीं liquidity crisis को manage करने के लिए उसके साथ साथ अगर मैं कहूँ balance of payment का जो deficit था उसे manage करने के लिए currency depreciation को manage करने के लिए RBI has circulated the foreign currency, RBI circulated the forex reserves into the economy, जिसकी वजह से ये जो reserves हैं they have fell down from 705 to 630 billion dollars in January 2025, which is lowest. फिर January 2025 के बाद geopolitical tensions, global trade issues, imports have decreased. So because of that, now धीरे धीरे ये जो forex reserves है they are increasing, and as of March 2025 हमारे पास जो reserves थे, what was the value? So the value was 600. The value was $668 billion. The value was $668 billion. तो अगली बार अगर हमसे कोई पूछे कि सर ये जो forex reserves हैं they have went down from 705 to 630, what were the reasons? So पहला reason था इंडियन रुपी डेप्रिसिएशन का मैनेजमेंट और दूसरा रीजन था बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट का मैनेजमेंट. सो आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग विद यू हाउ द बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट इज मैनेज्ड. गाइस, इज देयर एनी बफरिंग इशू? You guys are facing any buffering issue? Is that a case? Wait, give me a second. Is it fine now? Guys, is it fine now? Shall I move ahead? Please check it once. Is it fine now? Shall we move ahead? May I have a reply, please? Shall we move ahead if it is fine so that I can continue my discussion? Okay. So as I was discussing that the forex reserves, it has decreased from 705 to 630 billion dollars. The reason was two reasons. One is INR depreciation management and the other one was balance of payment management. So in this report, they have given a detailed discussion on the balance of payment management. So in case of balance of payment management, now you can understand, one, we have current account, and the second one, we have the capital account. In April to December 2023, current account was negative $30.7 billion. But in April to December 2024, this negativity has increased further. That means current account deficit has increased due to high imports, and due to high imports, we include in current account, we include import export, we include inward outward remittance, we include profit flow, we include income flow, salary, wages, along with that we have grants and aids. But current account deficit majorly, not only but majorly occurs because of the import and export difference. We all know that India is a net importing country. We import more than export, and that is the reason there is a deficiency. But on the other side, capital account, in case of capital account, it was positive, it was surplus, that is $63.6 billion from April to December, but from April to December, this surplus has reduced to $23.3 billion. अब उसकी वजह से नेट वैल्यू क्या होगी सर? दिस इज नेगेटिव, दिस इज पॉजिटिव. जब आप इन दोनों को ऐड करोगे यू विल गेट सरप्लस $32.9 बिलियन. इसका मतलब ये हुआ दिस सरप्लस विल इंक्रीज द फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स. बट ऑन द अदर साइड, here we have net deficit. This net deficit of balance of payment will obviously decrease the forex reserves. Will obviously decrease the forex reserves. I hope the point is clear till this point. ठीक है. अगला point क्या कहता है? अगला point कहता है कि sir, not only this, but there are certain valuation changes. Valuation changes means you have gold, you have foreign currency. The value of gold, the value of foreign currency changes over the period of time, and if you include that valuation change in your forex reserves, so your valuation has increased by $11.1 billion, due to which the total increase in forex reserves is going to be $44.0 billion. But on the other side, if you see this very carefully, on the other side, the valuation change is only $3.1 billion. Valuation is positive. Overall, you are negative. So this is going to result in decrease in forex reserves by $10.7 billion. समझ आया ये point? Is this point clear? So what does this point say? On the balance of payment basis, if I exclude valuation effect, foreign exchange reserves have decreased by $13.8 billion from April to December 2024 in comparison to increase in $32.9 billion during April to December 2023. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि सर अगर हम फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स की बात करें, फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स अप्रैल से दिसंबर में they have decreased by $13.8 billion because of net or balance of payment to be deficit. But in comparison to April to December 2023, where the balance of payment was surplus. अब अगर आप इसमें इंक्लूड करेंगे वैल्यूएशन को, तो जैसे मैंने वैल्यूएशन को इंक्लूड किया, वैल्यूएशन का मतलब क्या? इंक्रीज इन वैल्यू. तो जैसे मैंने इंक्रीज इन वैल्यू को इंक्लूड किया, दिस कम डाउन एट $10.7 billion. So forex reserves from April to December decreased by $10.7 billion because of balance of payment deficit. But on the other side, if I say from April to December, so from April to December, our forex reserves has increased by $44 billion. It has increased by $44 billion. And what is the reason behind increase in forex reserves by $44 billion? So the reason is surplus balance of payment as well as increase in valuation. So this is the data which you need to remember, which is important. This part as well as this part as well as this valuation wala part. This is something which you need to learn, you need to understand. If a direct question will be asked, you will be in a position to answer it. Moving on to the next. This is the entire table I have given to you. एक बार बस पढ़ लेना, अब आपको समझ आ जाएगा करंट अकाउंट में क्या क्या होगा. कैपिटल अकाउंट में मैंने लिखा फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट एज आई डिस्कस्ड. कैपिटल अकाउंट में हम और इंक्लूड करेंगे तो बैंकिंग कैपिटल्स को इंक्लूड करेंगे. दे ऑल आर इंक्लूडेड इन द कैटेगरी ऑफ कैपिटल अकाउंट. बस आपके रेफरेंस के लिए, आपके समझ के लिए आई हैव गिवन दिस एंटायर टेबल टू यू. ठीक है जी, I have given this entire table to you. बस पढ़ लेना. Moving on to the next point. As we discussed, so the forex reserves include, first one, it includes the foreign currency assets, which include cash as well as the securities which are issued by international banks, which are issued by multi-dimensional international organizations. For example, RBI ने एक डिबेंचर परचेज किया, एक बॉन्ड परचेज किया which has been issued by Federal Reserve. That will be the part of foreign currency asset. If RBI has purchased a security from Bank of England. That means RBI, rather than keeping cash, कि भैया कैश रखने की बजाय क्या करो, फॉरेन करेंसी असेट्स में, सिक्योरिटीज में मेंटेन कर लो. देयर आर टू बेनिफिट्स. फर्स्ट, यू विल अर्न रिटर्न ऑन इट. First is you will earn return on it, and it is easy to save in comparison to cash. कैश को संभालना, सिक्योरिटी, सेफ्टी, स्पेस, बहुत सारे एक्सपेंसेस हैं. फॉरेन करेंसी एसेट इज जस्ट अ डॉक्यूमेंट. इट्स जस्ट अ डॉक्यूमेंट, और उस डॉक्यूमेंट में क्लियरली लिखा है आरबीआई इज द पेई ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर डॉक्यूमेंट. सो इट्स इजी टू keep, it is easy to keep safe, as well as it will earn return on your investment. Second is gold. Third is SDR. Fourth is reserve position in the IMF. अब अगर आपको इन चारों के चारों टर्म्स में कोई भी डाउट है तो पूछ लो. दिस इज द current forex reserve, but this is not for March, this is for April 2025. तो April 2025 में it has increased to 686. So don't get confused कि पीछे लिखा है 668. ये जो 668 लिखा है, this is till March 2025, but I have given you the data for April 2025. It's just to read, do not memorize, do not learn. डन हो गया जी, यहां तक क्लियर हो गया. Shall I move ahead? यहां तक क्लियर हो गया. Shall I move ahead? कोई दिक्कत? अगली बार फॉरेक्स रिजर्व जब दिमाग में आएगा तो ये चारों चीजें क्लियर हो जाएगी. Forex reserves is with whom? RBI. What is the valuation related to Forex reserve? So valuation is related to, अगर आप बहुत simple terms में समझना चाहें, you can understand with respect to gold. For example, today 1 kg of gold is equals to $100. But if the price of gold increases from 1 kg $100 to $200, and earlier RBI was having a reserve of 1 kg only. Earlier we were adding value of gold as $100, but now the same gold will be added for $200. So this is the increase in forex reserve value without increase in asset value is known as valuation. Without increase in asset value is known as valuation. Clear है जी? Is it clear? Clear है जी? I hope it is clear. Moving to the next point. The next point is related to IMF, जो मैं आपको समझा चुका हूं. ध्यान से समझना, चीजें बहुत सही समझ आएंगी इस पर्टिकुलर इमेज के साथ. This is the member who has fully paid quota subscription. Means ये वो member है who has fully paid the quota, who has fully paid the quota, and this quota which has been paid, it is what? So it is basically what, sir? It is basically the membership fees which you have paid. अब इस membership fees में पूरी की पूरी membership fees का कुछ हिस्सा जो आपने foreign currency में maintain किया है, that is reserve trench, which can be utilized whenever required. And the moment you use it, you will come here. Member who have purchased its reserve trench but not used IMF credit. So till now you have not borrowed any loan from IMF, but you have utilized all of your reserve trench. Third is member making use of IMF credit. Now what you have done, sir? You have borrowed loan from IMF. What you have done? You have borrowed loan from IMF. And if you are borrowed loan from IMF, this is the loan you have borrowed without using the trench. This is the loan you have borrowed after using the trench. दोनों ही possible है. और ये जो तीसरा इंसान है, ये जो तीसरी कंट्री है, ये कंट्री वो कंट्री है जिसने अपने रिक्वायर्ड रिजर्व से ज्यादा पैसा दिया है, so that that can be used for lending. So it's very easy. The country which is going to borrow funds from IMF will be paying the loan, will be paying the rate of interest, means you are using your special drawing rights. But the member who is depositing more than their reserve trench, they will be earning the rate of interest. For example, US, it deposits, it keep more and more reserves with IMF. That is the reason US is earning interest. But on the other side, India is utilizing the credit from IMF or utilizing its SDR to borrow from IMF. That is basically, in that case, India is paying the rate of interest. India is paying the rate of interest. If it is clear, give me yes, sir. Otherwise, I'll take one more example to explain you in a better manner. Let's take an example, guys. Let's take an example. We have US, we have India, we have, let's say, Japan. ठीक है जी? India has special drawing rights of 50 million. US has special drawing rights of 3 billion SDRs, and Japan has special drawing rights or drawing rights I'll write it as drawing rights, 3 billion SDR, 50 million SDR, and let's say 1 billion SDR. ठीक है? अब इसको यूज कैसे करेंगे? How it's going to be used? That's what I'm trying to explain you. अब India is an importing country, so India has imported goods and services from US. After importing the goods and services from US, at the time of making the payment, the bill payment is, let's say, $10 million or 10 million SDRs. So India will use its SDR, 10 million SDRs from IMF to make the payment to US. और US का जो drawing right है, it is still $3 billion, but US reserve tranche has increased by 10 million SDR. So US will be earning rate of interest on this 10 million SDR, and India will be paying rate of interest on this 10 million SDR. This is how the SDRs are used. This is how the SDRs are traded within the IMF members. It is traded within the IMF members. Clear? Is this point clear? इससे ज्यादा डिटेल में ना कोई समझाएगा, ना आपको कभी समझ आएगा. अगर अभी भी समझ नहीं आया, then I would request you एक बार इस पॉइंट पे दोबारा देखना, इस वीडियो को क्लियर हो जाएगा. एक और एग्जांपल सुन लो. Let's suppose India is borrowing or India is purchasing goods and services from Japan. At the time of making the payment, India can make the payment through SDRs again, and let's say India has made a payment 10 million SDR to Japan. तो इंडिया की जो ड्रॉइंग राइट्स है, इट हैज ड्रॉप डाउन टू 30 मिलियन. जापान का जो रिजर्व्स है, दैट हैज इंक्रीज्ड बाय 10 मिलियन. यूएस का जो रिजर्व्स है, दे आर आल्सो इंक्रीज बाय 10 मिलियन. अब अगर यूएस इस 10 मिलियन एसडीआर को विड्रॉ करता है, तो यूएस विल अर्न नथिंग. अदरवाइज यूएस विल अर्न रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ऑन दिस एक्स्ट्रा रिजर्व. जापान विल अर्न interest on these extra reserves, and India will pay rate of interest on these used drawing rights. Drawing rights हैं, we allow you to use it, but you have to pay returns, you have to pay interest rate on these drawing rights. Is it clear, everyone? Is this point clear? If it is clear, give me yes sir, so that I can move ahead. If it is clear, give me yes sir, so that I can move ahead. Quickly reply in the comment section. No. That is not the case. No, that is wrong, Saurabh. SDR is the currency. SDR is the currency which is tradable. SDR is the currency which is tradable. That means if you are a member of IMF, you have the drawing rights. You can draw the funds in SDR. और उन एसडीआर में भी आप कौन सी करेंसी में फंड्स लेना चाहते हैं, दैट इज योर डिसीजन. दैट इज योर डिसीजन. सेकंड इज, इफ you are making the reserves with IMF, that reserves can also be made in terms of SDR. So SDR is nothing but it is what? SDR is nothing but it is the form of currency used while calculating the transaction value in IMF. While calculating the transaction value in IMF. That is a point. But अगर आप रिजर्व्स की बात करें, दैट इज रिजर्व ट्रेंच. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द ड्रॉइंग राइट्स, दैट मींस व्हाट यू कैन बोरो, दैट इज ड्रॉइंग राइट्स. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया? ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया. गाइस मेरे एंड पे तो आई गेस सब ठीक है. आई डोंट नो व्हाई दिस इशू इज प्रिवेलिंग. लेट मी चेक अगेन. लेट मी चेक अगेन. Guys, tell me, is it fine now? Tell me, is it fine now? The issue has resolved now? May I have a reply, please? Done? Shall we move ahead? Is it fine now? Shall we move ahead? Is it fine now? Please reply. I'm still waiting for your reply, guys. If it is okay, give me a thumbs up. If it is okay, give me a thumbs up. If it is fine now, give me a thumbs up. ठीक है. चलो. Let me continue. The next point which has been discussed in this particular report is external liabilities and foreign exchange reserves, India's international investment position. So India's international investment position basically means India's international investment position basically means when we calculate the foreign assets owned by Indians, foreign assets owned by Indians minus Indian assets owned by foreigners, minus Indian assets owned by foreigners. So ये data has also been shared in the current report, and what you need to remember is just this part. So what does the current data says? The current data says the total external assets, if you can see, it has increased. Total external liabilities, if you can see, it has also increased. But if we talk about the net IIP, which was earlier minus $368 billion, it has decreased to minus $364.5 billion. तो ये जो difference था, it has decreased. Difference decrease हुआ, इसका मतलब क्या? इसका मतलब जो net investment position है, it has improved because this difference has improved. Negative का मतलब ये हुआ कि ये जो हमने equation लिखी है, in this equation foreign asset owned by Indians is less than the Indian assets owned by foreigners. That means we have more liability to the foreigners in comparison to our assets in foreign. So if I plan to sell the entire Indian assets in foreign nations, then also I won't be able to pay the entire liability of the foreigners in India because we are running negative, and this negative term is need to be remembered. This negative term, this negative figure is need to be remembered. Moving on to the next point. The next point says forward outstanding position. What is this forward outstanding position? So forward outstanding position basically means either RBI promises to sell US dollars in near future, or RBI promises to purchase US dollars in near future. If you remember, recently when there was a liquidity crisis in the banking sector, RBI came up with this US dollar swap agreements where RBI said that RBI is purchasing the US dollars from the banks, and these US dollars purchased from the banks will be returned in the near future. So rather than making this actual transaction to happen, if RBI has promised that I will be selling the dollars in near future, that is forward sale. So if RBI is making this promise कि आज मैं बैंक से US डॉलर खरीदूंगा और इन्हीं US डॉलर्स को वापस बेच दूंगा बैंक्स को after 5 years, this is what? So this is forward sale. But on the other side, if RBI has sold the US dollars today and promises to purchase it back after 5 years, then it will be termed as forward purchase. But what is net short position? So the net short position in the forward book as reported by RBI means the central bank has sold more dollars फॉरवर्ड देन इट हैज बॉट. सो फ्यूचर में आरबीआई जितने डॉलर्स खरीदेगा उससे ज्यादा, या आरबीआई जितने डॉलर्स बेचेगा उससे कम खरीदेगा, या जितने डॉलर खरीदेगा उससे ज्यादा बेचेगा. दैट इज नोन एज नेट short position. RBI will be short of dollars. Why RBI will be short of dollars? The reason is RBI has promised to sell $100 million. RBI is promising to purchase $50 million. तो वो जो $50 million का परचेज और सेल में डिफरेंस है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी द नेट short position, where RBI means a central bank has sold more. RBI is saying that I will be selling $100 million but purchasing only $50 million. So this short is known as the net short position, and RBI is in net short position of $84.345 billion, and this is the trend. If you can see the trend over here, size of India's central bank forward book, sir, earlier it was positive. That means RBI was not short of, or net short was positive, but now here we have a net short where RBI will be selling more and purchasing less, or RBI has sold more in comparison to purchase. So RBI ने ज्यादा डॉलर्स क्यों परचेज किए, उसका रीजन क्या है? ज्यादा डॉलर्स RBI ने परचेज किए with the motive to increase the liquidity in the market, to increase the INRs in the market. I hope the point is clear. Moving on to the next point. The next point is again very important. Direct question will be asked in the RBI examination. The question is based on adequacy of reserves. As at the end of December 2004, at the end of December 2004, Forex reserves of India are capable to cover the import bills of India for 10.5 months. तो ऐसे भी डेटा पूछा जाता है कि इंडिया का जो फॉरेक्स रिजर्व है, इट इज कैपेबल टू मेक द इंपोर्ट बिल पेमेंट्स फॉर हाउ मेनी मंथ्स? देन आंसर इज 10.5 months, which was earlier 11.8 months. Which was earlier 11.8 months. The ratio of the short-term debt to reserves, the ratio of the short-term debt to the reserves, which was 19.1%, has increased to 22%, which is not good. जब भी कभी आपकी कंट्री का शॉर्ट टर्म debt बढ़ता है, whenever the short term debt of a nation increases, that means you are borrowing. That means you are borrowing for your operation values. You are borrowing to cope up with your operation. You are borrowing to perform the operations. और उस केस में it shows that country is witnessing a lack of liquidity, which is not a good call for an economy. Which is not a good call for an economy. Clear, guys? The ratio of volatile capital flows. Ratio of volatile capital flow means I'm talking about the portfolio inflows. I'm talking about foreign portfolio investments. So foreign portfolio investment as well as outstanding short-term debt to reserves have increased from 67 to 74.3%. So this is very tough situation in this manner because our short-term debt is increasing. Along with our short-term debt, the majority or the percentage with respect to the portfolio inflows is high, और अगर portfolio inflows high होते हैं, it brings along with them the volatility in the economy. They bring volatility in the economy with them. That is the point I'm talking about. Last but not the least is the management reserves. At the end of March 2025, Reserve Bank of India is having 879.59 metric tons of gold. और ये जो गोल्ड है ये सारा आरबीआई के पास नहीं होता, कुछ गोल्ड आरबीआई के पास है, कुछ गोल्ड आरबीआई ने रखा है किसके पास? इन द सेफ कस्टडी ऑफ बैंक ऑफ इंग्लैंड एज वेल एज बीआईएस. आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर aware of this point, but if you are aware of this point and you have a problem in this, कि why this has been done? So this has been done for betterment in the form कि भैया आज आरबीआई ने अपने गोल्ड को सेफ रखा विद बैंक ऑफ इंग्लैंड, गोल्ड को सेफ रखा विद Okay, so these gold reserves of the RBI are kept with the other bodies as well. तो अगर हम बात करें share of gold in the forex reserve, it has increased from 9.32% to 11.70%. So this is something which you need to remember. This is something which you need to remember. Moving on to the next point. The next point talks about the foreign currency assets, the securities, the deposits with other central banks and BIS, and deposit with commercial bank overseas. So as per the current data, foreign currency assets include securities, and the majority segment or the majority portion of the foreign currency asset is in the form of securities only. After that, we have deposits with other central bank and BIS, and then we have deposits with the bank overseas. Then we have certain important terms related to this particular report. The first term is financial transaction plan. If the question is asked, what is financial transaction plan? So financial transaction plan is the plan of IMF, or I would say it is basically a mechanism through which funds finances its lendings and repayment operation to members in the general resource account. What does it basically means? Please pay attention. Financial transaction plan is the mechanism through which fund finances its lending and repayment position to its members. So members of the IMF, they take loans from IMF with the limits corresponding to their quota. IMF lend to its member in foreign currency as well as SDRs. So remember that during the first half, or during this half of the year which we are talking about, India has borrowed. Purchase transaction means borrowing. India has borrowed $284.86 million, and India has repaid in 4 transactions, and the total value of this repayment in those 4 transactions is of $158.36 million. It is of $158.36 million. Clear? Next point is new arrangement to borrow. New arrangement to borrow, what does it mean? Sir, IMF provide loan to its members out of the pooled amount. Now let's suppose the entire pooled amount is given on loan. If the entire pooled amount is given on loan and this is zero, and if IMF is in need of more funds, then IMF has asked its members to pool extra amount if required. So in that particular case, India's commitment under IMF's new arrangement, under the IMF's new arrangement to borrow was $8.881 billion. So what I'm trying to say? That India was liable to contribute 8.881 billion SDR to IMF only if the entire initial pooled amount is exhausted by lending to its members. तो अगर ये सारी अमाउंट एग्जॉस्ट हो गई, सारा का सारा अमाउंट लोन पे दे दिया IMF ने, तो उस केस में क्या होगा? What will happen in that particular case? Sir, in that particular case, India is committed to provide, India is committed to deposit more funds. And what was that amount? So that liability, that commitment was 8.881 billion SDRs as of January 2021 जब इसे इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. But right now RBI has nil subscription. Nil subscription का मतलब IMF has not asked RBI to pool the extra amount, क्योंकि अभी जो existing pool है that has been utilized, it is not yet fully exhausted. If it is not yet fully exhausted, we don't need more funds, and if we don't need more funds, we don't need the extra commitments. So the extra commitment is 8.8 billion SDRs, but it has not been subscribed yet as per the latest announcement done by IMF. Is it clear now? Is this point clear? Okay, moving on to the last point. The last point talks about the SAARC swap agreement. We all know about SAARC, that is South Asian Association. South Asian Association for Regional Corporation, which include 8 members, MBBS, Spain, which include Bangladesh, Bhutan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal. So these countries, they have signed an agreement. And what is the agreement they have signed? The agreement which they have signed, it states that that the nations, the SAARC members, they can sign a swap agreement where India and let's say Bangladesh, they can swap the currency. Bangladesh can give Bangladeshi currency to India, and India may give US dollars to Bangladesh if required, or India may give Indian rupees to Bangladesh if required. This is a swap agreement, and it is done for a short period, and once the short period is complete, then the currency swapping will be done again. So remember, SAARC currency swap agreement is a financial mechanism, primarily a backstop line of funding designed to support SAARC member countries, during the period of short-term foreign exchange needs or balance of difficulties of payment. So Reserve Bank enters into a bilateral swap agreements with the SAARC's nation central banks. It could be in euro, it could be in dollars, and even it could be in INR if required. But it is a short-term swapping which is done by IMF. आज आपको हमने rupees के बदले में आपकी currency ली है. After 6 months, you will be paying our currency back and you will be taking your rupees back. So here you can see RBI has signed bilateral swap agreement. Do remember, bilateral swap agreement with Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, and Maldives Monetary Authority. With Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, it has been done in Indian rupees. That means we have given them 15 billion rupees against the Bhutanese currency, and in case of Maldives, we have given them $400 million against the Maldives currency, and this has been done for 6 months. So if I talk about the Bhutan, it was done in August 5, 2024, which completed in February 2025. But with Maldives, it was done on October 2024 and it will be completed after 6 months. तो अक्टूबर के बाद 6 महीने पूरे हो गए क्या? अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल. तो 22 अप्रैल को this also will be rolled over. This also will be completed. Last point is investment in bonds issued by IIFC. What is IIFC? Sir, it is India Infrastructure Finance Company. So India Infrastructure Finance Company is based in UK, and RBI can invest up to $5 billion in the bonds issued by this organization. And at the end of March 2025, India has invested, or RBI has invested, a total of $400 million. RBI has invested a total of $400 million. Is this point clear? So this is all about the report. I know there was some technical issue due to which the class was buffering. I don't know what is the issue prevailing, because on my side everything is fine. I don't know what was the issue. But ठीक है, I have completed with this particular report. I won't be discussing more on this. We will be concluding over here only, but the moment this session will end and you will be watching this session in a recorded form, I think the buffering issue will be resolved. I think you won't be facing any kind of buffering issue. Okay guys, so I'll conclude my discussion over here only. The left out news which I was planning to cover with you today in this session, I will be covering in the next session. Is it fine? Sorry for the technical issue, but it is not my control. I hope you understand. We'll continue the discussion in the next session. Thank you so much. Good luck. God bless you all. We'll catch you in the next session. Bye-bye. Take care.